So I just finished watching Salaar, directed by Prashanth Neel, and oh god. I mean, one thing is people shit on Prashanth Neel all the time, saying that he just makes shallow elevation films. They're just elevations, and then there's a story. But for an elevation scene to work, you need to have a good, strong base for it. Yesterday, as I said in my donkey review as well, there needs to be a strong base, a strong foundation for any scene to work. And in KGF 2, we saw that. We saw glimpses of that because the stage was set so perfectly in the first part that we saw full effect of it in the second part. And in Salar, we actually see that happening. There are scenes where Prashant Neel holds and holds and holds and holds, and after a point, see, sometimes holding can also get too redundant, where you are like, yaar, kitna hold karoge? But in this film, he holds and then he just breaks, and that is absolutely beautifully done in Salar. I mean, oh my god! I mean, watching Prabhas like that after years, it felt really good. I mean, I was having the time of my life throughout the film. I mean, initial parts of the film. I mean, when they said that this film is an adaptation of Ugramm, I wouldn't say an adaptation, but a retelling of Ugramm. I was scared of the first half of the film because there is some comedy in Ugramm that didn't work for me when I first saw it, but that is not there in this. And it is a retelling of Ugramm. It is not Ugramm completely. I mean, what I wanted to watch in Ugramm is what is there in this film. It's not like a Ugramm ko leke 100 crore mein banaya. It's not like that. And the friendship really seems very convincing because it just it is not just sprinkled around everywhere. There is a consistency to the whole friendship angle of the two leads as well. It's brilliantly done, and there's a narrative nature. There's a narration kind of nature to the film, which is also brilliantly done, brilliantly narrated, brilliantly told. The focus or the point of view never shifts from being a third person. It always is from a third person's view, and that I think is a very difficult thing to achieve. That's a very, more than being a difficult thing, you should be conscious of the fact that this is a third person narrating the film, and it's also very well done over here. Acting के लिए obviously there is not much scope. Prabhas does what he's supposed to do as in not for the film in specific, but what he had to do after Bahubali. I mean, the stature of the man. I mean, the physicality of the man. He is like that, and he's supposed to do stuff like this, and this works big time for him. People are like, oh, उसने acting नहीं किया, उसने ये नहीं किया, उस पे dialogues नहीं, there's no dialogues for him. He does not express really well. This did hurt, that did hurt, this did sort of, yeah, what do you say? ये हिला नहीं, वो हिला नहीं, मुंह पे expression नहीं हिले. I think the character itself is like that, and when he's playful, he's playful. I mean, you can see in the initial parts of the film. I mean, people, I don't know why people are just shitting on the film for the sake of shitting on it. Okay, I'm sorry for that as well. I'm not anybody to lecture anyone else based on depending on or based on their taste or something. But I really like the film, so that's what I'm going to do. I mean, are there any bad scenes in the film? I do not know because see, I wouldn't say it's a perfect film as well. I mean, the kineticness of again another thing, the editing of this film I really like because there's a sort of a kinetic nature to it that I really hated in KGF 2, where the shots just burst. Instead of that, in this film, the editing is done really well. There are 3-4 sequences that happen, and I think Prashanth Neel is an absolute master at it because to prove a single point, he takes instances or vignettes of different scenes to prove a single point, and it's beautifully done. It was done in Ugramm as well. I mean, that edit pattern nobody's talking about. I think it's a beautifully done edit. I mean, the entire there's no continuation of one scene, but the point is made through different scenes and through different vignettes of the same scene. It's beautifully edited. That is there, and the acting of obviously Prithviraj was beautifully magnificent in the film. He has an absolute royal sort of screen presence, and it's beautiful. The action in the film, breathtaking. The cinematography is really good. I mean, people are like, light lagana pad raha hai, ye lagana pad raha hai, wo lagana pad raha hai. Stop. Don't fall for absolute cheap jokes or cheap jibes in the film. They're most probably like got paid or something, because you can see when a person dislikes a film, you can say that person has disliked the film, but if a person is taking jibes at the film, you really well know how much of a bias there exists. Like torch dal ke dekhna hai. I mean, the film was pretty bright, man. I didn't even care. I was not like, oh, it looks like a cold filled frame. It does not feel like that, to be honest. it actually, there things are visible. I could see the clouds as well. I mean, why are people taking cheap jibes at this? I don't understand. So that happened. कुत्तों के बारे में बात कर रहा था, कुत्ते भौंकने लगे. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, the acting is great throughout, the cinematography is great throughout, the editing especially I really liked, the action scenes obviously I really loved. One thing I did not like, I would say, is how Prashanth Neel sort of, I mean, it works for the scene that commences after the scene now. Like, let's say, like as I said earlier as well, he takes a lot of time to build something, but sometimes that does become redundant, especially towards the end where you are like, okay, I'm waiting for it, I'm still waiting for it, and that point has not come. And I mean, that point does come eventually, but it's sort of lag या drag नहीं बोलूँगा because I hate those words. Yesterday even when I said in my donkey review I hated it. But yeah, it takes its time, but it's absolutely breathtaking, the whole thing. I mean, it does take its time. I mean, if you're patient enough, the payoff is beautiful, the payoff is brilliant, the payoff is sort of something that leaves you with a lot of satisfaction. And please do watch it in theaters with a full crowd or without a crowd if you don't like it. But please do watch the film in its entirety. It's beautifully ended as well. I mean, the sort of the gateway to the second part, it's actually really pretty well done over here. And as a person who's seen Ugramm, I know when I saw Ugramm, I felt it was so rushy towards the end that we just see. I mean, the entire. I mean, I'm just waiting for people to witness what is going to be in part 2 because, oh god, you're in for an absolute treat because people who've seen Ugramm will know what it is going to be, and this is just Ugramm, but it's on steroids and it's absolutely really good. My initial reaction, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. This is my initial reaction again. If my opinions have an absolute adverse reaction during my second watch, that'll be tomorrow. Maybe I'll give a different review then, but if not, I'm not going to. And maybe there's going to be an animal review / critique / analysis that's going to happen, and I'm going to analyze not the film, but the people who've seen the film and the people's reaction behind it. I really want to talk about it. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5.